Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're here inside today because it's pretty darn cold outside and it's a little bit of a blizzard. So I thought we would cover yet another chicken breed. We do that a lot in the winter simply because I don't want to film outside when it's snowing this much. So today we're going to talk about the Dorking. It is one of the oldest breeds of chicken from England. It's actually a fantastic breed. Gorgeous birds. You're going to see a whole bunch of pictures on your screen right now that are just Dorkings. They're fantastic birds, and look at how beautiful they are. Now, they do have a distinctive hind toe. So this is not like the Silkie's extra toe, for example. The Silkie's extra toe just is an extra toe on their foot. The Dorking actually has an extra toe on on the back of their foot. It's actually really kind of cool. So birds with this hind toe are mentioned in many historical texts going all the way back to Roman times. So they are not a new breed. Even though you might not have heard of them or you might not have seen them, they've been around for a very long time. They do kind of come and go into fashion. So you might not see them and then you might see a lot of them and then you might not see them again. So they're not a breed that is consistently around in the chicken world, but they have never gone extinct, and they do still exist. Right now, breeders work with them all the time. Not a lot of breeders, but enough that they are definitely around. So despite their ancient origins, it was not until after the 1850s that their plumage pattern began to stabilize. Breeders in Surrey, Sussex, and Kent in England were working to give the bird a more consistent appearance, and they did that very well. These days, you can look at a Dorking and go, yep, that's a Dorking, and you don't really confuse them with another breed of chicken as long as you know what you're looking at. If you know what a Dorking looks like, you'll be able to spot a Dorking from 30 feet away. They're pretty beautiful birds, and they're pretty distinctive birds. They're absolutely a wonderful, wonderful companion because they're pretty docile. They were a popular meat bird back in the day. They were also really popular as an exhibition breed because they're just gorgeous birds. So they used to be very, very common, at least in England. You would have, when you had chicken, you often had a Dorking. But what happened was breeders started to focus on the show qualities of the bird right around the time when the Great Depression was hitting in the United States. So what happened was, as they focused on the show quality of the birds, the table quality of the bird declined. All right, so right around that time, so between World War I and World War II, there was a lot of need. People needed food. So farmers wanted to focus more on faster growing birds that just had a shorter time from hatching as a chick to landing on your table to feed your family. They wanted to shorten that time, so they started focusing on breeds that grew a lot faster, that produced a larger bird. So the popularity of the Dorking did decline, which was unfortunate, but it was also just a natural consequence of the continued focus on their beautiful plumage pattern. They just weren't quite as suitable for the table at that time because you had to pump your birds out quickly just to feed people in that era. So they do remain rare today. They are rare, but they're not unheard of. There is a even rarer bantam version of the Dorking, and you'll probably not see that one. It's around, but not at all common. So serious breeders are needed to keep this breed going. So if you do encounter the Dorking and you are interested in having them on your farm, I highly encourage you to get some good quality Dorkings and hatch their babies because the chicken world needs it. The Dorking is a beautiful bird that absolutely deserves a place in the chicken world. So if you do decide to breed them, please do because they are a wonderful, wonderful breed. They are calm, they're docile, and they're really good foragers. They're really good for people who want free-range chickens, but don't necessarily want their lawn torn up because Dorkings, while they are great foragers, great free-rangers, they tend not to scratch your lawn as deeply, so they do a little less damage to your lawn than some of the other chicken breeds you might have wandering around your yard. So especially if you have a smaller yard and you want a free range, Dorkings might just be the way to go. They do go broody pretty easily, and they make excellent mothers. Now, are they in the realm of silkies when it comes to going broody and stuff? No, of course not. But they still are really good at hatching their own eggs and sticking it out and being good moms. So if you are looking for a breed that will hatch their own babies so that you don't have to get an incubator, Dorking might be for you. The males do have fairly large combs, and they are a little more prone to frostbite. So if you live in a colder area, you might want to make sure that your coop really does have low humidity in the winter, just because those combs are so prone to frostbite. And unfortunately, that's just the way the Dorking males are. Now, females obviously do not have a large comb, not in that breed, but the males are really prone to frostbite in the comb. Not as prone to frostbite in their feet. They actually do excellent in the winter if you can prevent their comb from freezing, because the comb will freeze and there will be some damage there. So, though the Dorking was historically a meat breed, today they're an exhibition breed. Okay, that's just how they developed now. They are pretty much exclusively exhibition. Yes, you can still use them as a meat breed, but that's pretty rare these days. They're not a terrible layer, so they're not obviously in the realm of something like a leghorn. They're not going to lay that many eggs, but they do lay 120 to 170 good quality eggs a year. They're a larger kind of creamy white egg, so they're not a bad layer. They're not the best. I mean, they don't lay well in the winter, but that's just the way they are. So they will do you well for eggs. Obviously, if you need a lot of eggs and you're raising birds specifically for eggs, you're probably not going to go with the Dorking. But if you just want an average number of eggs, they'll be okay. So there is both a standard and a bantam size. The bantam's rare, but they're out there. Common colors that you will see, you'll see the cuckoo, you'll see a dark red, silver gray, you might even find white. White is a little less common where I am, more common in other areas. Not a lot of people raise white Dorkings here, but they are out there. Now, their meat is very fine, very delicate, very succulent. It's a great meat. They're just not raised as meat birds very often anymore. They are a heritage breed, so they do take longer to go from chick to table. They just take longer to mature. Most heritage breeds do. So they're not typically raised for meat, but they can be. So they're a beautiful bird. They can lay you a decent amount of eggs, and they can serve as a meat bird if you like. Are they excellent at laying eggs? No. Are they an excellent meat bird? Not these days. But they can still be decent at both. But that is about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about the Dorking. We'll see you tomorrow.